Letters from the front. Word from a bushman. The Kyneton Guardian, the 25th of October, 1900. Trooper John McCulloch of the AIR Victorian Battalion, a brother of Mr. W. H. McCulloch, Station Master of Trentham, has written from Ottershoop, under the date of the 27th of August, as follows, quote, "Our picnic trip is now over and we are doing plenty of graft. We were marching from Marandellas to Bulawayo in a leisurely fashion when orders came for us to hurry on at once. We had to leave our kit bags and do forced marches day and night until Bulawayo was reached. Then we were bundled into a truck and had 2 days and nights of it until we reached famous Mafeking. The town is very much knocked about, but it's simply marvellous how Baden-Powell was able to defend it, as it is situated in an open plain. From Mafeking we marched to Ottershoop, to Zeerust, which was a ticklish affair, as it is all through Boer country, and it was known that the hills were full of them. We started at 5 o'clock, but before that our commander sent off a convoy of wagons in the opposite direction. The Boers were deceived, and we got through without a shot being fired. We were in the saddle all that night and all the next day. After handing the food over, we joined Methuen forces and marched back to Ottershoop. The Boers attacked the front guard, but the heavy guns quickly drove them back. A Company had a go-in and lost 1 trooper and 1 lieutenant. We had a few shots fired at us when scouting, but have no injuries. It is no wonder the Boers fight for their country, as it is some of the best land in the world and is well watered by splendid springs. Oranges and lemons grow to perfection here, besides all kind of grain crops. Our horses are getting played out, and it is a hard job to find enough horses to mount all the men. On our last march, Methuen's men burned all the Boer houses where they could not get satisfactory accounts of the owners. Then appeared the cruel side of the war, to see the women and children turned out while their houses were committed to the flames. We also turned our horses out to feed on their crops, and some of the English soldiers commandeered all fowls, etc., they could lay their hands on. The dust is something awful on every march, and in every camp you are completely covered with it. We can hear big guns firing nearly every day, but are now that used to it that we take no notice." Trooper McCulloch concludes his letter stating that the nights are awfully cold, the water in the bottles being frozen into a solid lump at times. Captain Wright, Kyneton Guardian, 10th of December, 1901. Taradale, a soldier's letter. Captain J. Wright, son of Mr. Wright of Taradale, who is now on active duty in South Africa, has written another letter to his parents from the scene of action. It will be remembered that Captain Wright, who was amongst the Victorians of the Wilmansrust disaster, wrote a detailed account of the incident that led to that disaster, and that narrative was printed in The Guardian a few months ago. This time the captain's letter is written from Bongilla Bush and is dated October the 18th. The following extracts from the letter will be interesting to many whose relations have perhaps taken part in the 5th Victorian contingent in the scenes referred to. Quote, "Today our column has made early camp. We just came a couple of miles and struck camp before 11 a.m. I think we deserve a day's rest, for we have been going pretty constantly for the past week. Yesterday we had a pretty hard day's fighting, and it was about midnight before some of us got into camp. From about noon to 6:30 p.m. the rifle and big gun were pretty merry. We were expecting business all day, and we got it. This place, Bongilla Bush, is the roughest and most dangerous I have yet seen, so we considered it advisable not to bring our convoy through yesterday. So we sent it around by a safer and better track. The Victorian mounted rifles, the 8th Hussars, 2 field guns and a pom-pom went through the gorges. Anyone seeing the rough nature of the country here would wonder how they managed to shift the Boers out in General Buller's time. However, they let us dodge along until about noon or after, and then all at once they opened onto our big guns. I fancy the object was to disable some of the horses, then rush the guns, but in this they did not succeed. They managed to wound 1 gunner and a gun horse, but it was not many seconds before the artillery was in a safe place and was in action. Then there was General Plumer's guns booming on one side of us and Hamilton's on the others, and the cannonade was kept up for hours on the same ridge. Besides the constant rifle fire, there were long toms, pom-poms, 15-pounders and maxims going in galore. I could not say what execution we did, and I would not have liked to have been to see, but there were some hundreds of pounds of weight of lead and shrapnel sent into that old hill yesterday. This is where all the Boers that we went after on the Zululand border came to. There are several columns around here, and the infantry of some of them have the disagreeable task of searching the scrub with fixed bayonets, while the mounted men reconnoitre around it. Just fancy going through miles of scrub and rock, where a Dutchman can snipe you at any distance of 5 yards without you being able to see him. One of our poor fellows named Houghton, while on the flank the other day, was shot by a Boer. The old fellow who shot him was over 80 years of age. This place is not far from Utrecht, a garrison town, which I wrote from some time ago. We've had a lot of miserable wet foggy weather, which has delayed us a day or two, and we cannot do anything with this bush until it clears up. I'm finishing this letter on the morning of the 20th of October, and as it has cleared up a bit, we expect some business today. Yeah, well, I'm in Camperdown now. So you're probably watching this in a bit of a reverse sequence, but I was in Beaufort at the Historical Society, as you might have seen. They weren't open. I rang the president, I rang the secretary, Babs, and left messages. So I decided to come down to Camperdown first, and hopefully it'll be open by the time I get back, and that's what's going to happen, because the president, Elizabeth, rang me, President Elizabeth, from the Beaufort Society, said someone will be there from midday till 3. So we'll get to see Major Eddie's memorial. But meanwhile, I saw this coming into Camperdown. Now, I do know Camperdown fairly well, but this is fantastic. But this is not Boer War, and nonetheless it deserves being seen and documented. What a magnificent statue. The Great Wall. Look at that. The war to end all wars. Wow. That's fantastic, isn't it? We're going to see the sun shining on her shield. She's got her shield slung over the back. You see that? It's got like Zeus on the shield. Wow. That's magnificent, isn't it? Love of country has triumphed. You know, that's pretty good, but you know, we've got to find they do have quite a substantial Boer War monument, because on our way to, we used to go down to Port Campbell and to the Great Ocean Road, so we'd come through here fairly often, and we knew someone that had a farm down here that my mate Steve used to go rabbit shooting and that, so we know Camperdown. And I always remember driving past the Boer War monument thinking, oh yeah, that's one of them. Alright, well, we'll drive a bit further on, and then we're going to get to, after that we're going to go to the Historical Society, hopefully, and Marie's going to meet us and open up for us. So let's go. Okay, well, it wasn't very far up there. Road from that World War I monument that I was muchos impressed with. And, hang on, there's two of them. Okay. This man might be taking photos. Will I be getting in your way if I record the monuments? Thank you. Okay. If it's not this one, and I don't think it is actually. He doesn't look like a soldier. Could be. Yeah, no, this isn't him. He's a, he must be a town councillor or something. Some sort of big clock tower here. Camperdown's a great little place. They got like cheese and milk and dairy. As I said, it's on the way to the Great Ocean Road. I used to come here quite a bit. I think his name was Derek. Now Derek was Tim Boone. It was Magilton who had the farm, his cousin or something. So once again caught cars of teenagers coming along here to Camperdown. Anyway, here we are. This looks to me like a Boer War soldier, an Aussie, standing to attention. He's got his 303, rule 303. We lined them up and we shot them. Yeah, not very nice. So erected by the residents of Camperdown district in the memory of the soldiers of the Empire who fell in the South African War, 1899 to 1902. There he is. You can see that. Once again, he's got his putties. Seems to have the newspaper under his arm, but I don't think that could be right. Trooper John Lawrence of the 5th Contingent, killed in action at Cherbourg Stook, the August the 23rd of 1901, age 20. Trooper Lawrence. Well, this is interesting. We never see this. War declared October the 19th, 1899. Peace, May the 31st, 1902. Peace in Vereeniging. That's where they signed the peace declaration. This fella, Private Arthur Jones, Victorian mounted rifles 1st Contingent, died in active service at Kroonstad, October the 24th, 1900, age 22. Now he has a plaque in the Historical Society, and Marie's coming to open up for us. Jones also has a plaque in the Anglican Church, and we're going to go to the church, but I'm told they won't be open, that they're on some sort of training course today. Here's a few things. Oh, Robbie Burns, history of Camperdown. That's one of the Indigenous folks, for you people overseas. Okay, so I'm at the Historical Society. Magnificent old, it's actually an IWF building, which is the Independent Order of Oddfellows, who I worked for in my IT industry at one stage. Their head office down in Melbourne, St Kilda. It's got some sort of hand with a heart on it. There's an emblem there, 1896, so just before the Boer War, the outbreak of hostilities. Anyway, Marie is very kindly coming down out of her own time, because they're not actually open, but when I rang she said she'd come over from looking after the grandkids and open up for us. And I think we're here to see Trooper Jones, plaque for Trooper Jones. So Marie said she'd only be a few minutes. Hey Marie, I'm Cherry. No, not quite. Thanks so much for coming along and disrupting your day. Thank you. They weren't open at Beaufort, but they're going to be open midday till 3, they told me. So they've got a plaque for Major Eddie, and you should have a plaque for the Private Jones.
Yes.
Oh, there, wow.
Yeah, and it's sort of always been in that position. Old photos in this building, it's always been there. It's never been moved.
I wonder if he was a part of the IWF with that hand and the heart symbol, which is on the front of your building.
Yes, well he was, yeah, that's why it's in here, because he was an IWF member.
And Kroonstad is in the Orange Free State, so do you know anything about Arthur or
Yes, yeah, we have got quite a bit of information on him. He was, you know, from a local family here.
Right.
His parents were butchers, and I think his father might have died by then, but his mother then took over. And unusual in those days, the name on the shop was M. James and Co. I think it was.
Right.
There's actually a Boer War memorial as well.
I did stop there, yeah.
Yes.
So it says, gifted to the memory of brother Arthur Jones, born Camperdown, September the 9th, 1878, died at
I
Kroonstad.
think it's erected.
Erected, yes, erected.
To the memory of Brother Arthur Jones.
On October the 24th, 1900.
Yeah.
So I run a small channel of geeks that are interested in the Boer War from all around the world.
Oh, right.
And I'm actually going in October to see some of the places that the Australians served. So this is fantastic to see this up close.
Yeah.
So colourful and...
Yeah, well, it is still colourful. You think, you know, it probably hasn't been touched up, but it's been inside all the time. And that's
Okay.
the thing. Yeah, so when the IWF had...
They're World War One men, are they?
That's a roll on for the First World War.
Yeah. But none of those are Jones, are they?
No.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I could send you a copy if you got email.
Yeah.
Because that's sometimes the easiest way. And it was a bit odd because there were two people by the name of Arthur Jones from this area that both were over there at the same time. And the other one's from Camperdown and the other one's out at Pondoneet.
Oh, right.
The message could have got mixed up as to who it was for a while.
So Marie's just getting us a photo of Trooper Jones, if we can.
Yeah, see, that's the shop I was talking about. J. Jones and Company. That's its mother. Yeah.
That's his mother, and
Yes.
and son of a butcher.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Well, that's right. What's it doing that to me? I'll go back to where this is the one I was after.
Oh, you got him, yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, there he is. He's in uniform.
Yes.
He looks older than...
Well, that's right, because you take the moustache off,
Yeah.
and they're a lot younger. So the story was, or supposed to have happened, was that when the locals wanted to do the memorial, Jones was the only one who had died at the time, and so they sent an image of him, and the statue was supposed to be made in his image, but
right.
I think it was done by Italian sculptors or something. I think it's a generic one.
Well, there's two names on that monument.
Yes,
there's another
one's
trooper.
Lawrence. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant
He
to
died
think.
after that was put up, but they added his name
Added
to
him.
it as well. Yeah. But that's good to have.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you, Marie. Now, my last stop is going to be the Anglican Church up in... Is it on this road? Is this Manifold Street?
This is Manifold Street. But
Oh, what's that? Oh, that's when they unveiled the monument.
Yeah.
Wow. 1903. Quite a few men in uniform.
That's a bit of a...
That's the bio on him.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Have we got the right one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not known where Arthur is buried. Probably Kroonstad. Alright, well that's fantastic. We'll have a lot of research out of that.
Yes.
He was a...
I know there's been somebody Kruger who was always coming and going through all the Boer War
Alright.
things.
He might have been a South African. Well, he was the president, Paul Kruger. So. Alright, well, we'll leave you to it. Well, one more magnificent look at this for the subscribers. You're very lucky to get this. We're really lucky and fortunate. We've got to thank Marie, everybody, so thank you.
The program, oh, you saw that when they opened it in that was the centennial of the opening.
Right.
So it was actually unveiled. I think it was the earliest one of the Boer War Memorial, the one in the street there, because it was done while it was still going on.
Yeah. So there is a website which has all these memorials on it, and that's how I know. That's how I knew you were here.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get that in.
So where are you from?
I live in Reedsdale.
Yeah.
Which is near Heathcote.
Oh, yes.
Do you know that area?
Yes, yeah.
So I better get a move on and go back.
Get back to Beaufort.
Oh, yeah, back to Beaufort.
Yes.
Thanks for your time again. You have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye. So that was, we got a lot of information off Marie, didn't we? I mean, I don't know if we managed to all get it on film, but she had everything. She had pictures of his mother. She had a portrait of Alex before he went to war. She had the order of service for the unveiling of the monument. But anyway, this is St. Paul's Anglican. Now, in here is a plaque for Jones, Private Jones, killed at Kroonstad. I did contact the church and they answered their phone. A fellow called Matthew. He said they're all at training today, but if they can help in any way, they'll be having a service here tomorrow, which is no good for us. There's a bloody miles from here back home, so that's okay. We're to get back to Beaufort, and same as they did in Alexandra. You can send me photos of it, but I think there's photos online at the memorial website. So alright, we can say we've been here, and inside is a plaque to Trooper Jones, probably brass. You know those brass ones, we know them now pretty well. Okay.